Oh yeah, we back, baby. Back already. That's the crazy thing is that I got a little bit of time and I was like the last stream went really well. So you know what I did? I said, you know what, let's do this again. And the girls are back in school and I was thinking about school and this is probably the greatest lesson I ever learned in my life. Let's use that as motivation to knock it out the park. You dig it? All right, so let's do this. The greatest piece of advice that I ever got in my life was this. And I'll tell you right after you guys check this out. This is the podcast about nothing with your boy, Corey O. Yeah, so the greatest piece of advice that I ever received in my life was this piece of advice. And I'm going to tell you where I got it from. About 3 years ago, how can I say this? I was a security guard during the pandemic, right when it just hit. And they had me at this facility, which was like a business or I say a corporation that was on the Fortune 500 top 500 companies in the world. And this was their headquarters. So during the pandemic, of course, there's no one, I mean, not a soul in the building except for the execs. And so I was a security guard. I had to take their temperatures. They had to get their temperature taken right before they get into the building, right as soon as they arrive. And I was the guy who did that. But I looked at this moment as an opportunity. Yeah, I said it, an opportunity to pick the minds of those that I see in a place that I want to be. You know, they always say you don't go and ask the bird how to swim. You ask the fish because they're swimming in that pond. And that's what you want to do. And that's what their natural ability is. So that's what I did, man. That's what I did. Every day I would write down a question to ask one of these execs, such as the CFO. I was reading the Wall Street Journal. I would ask them advice about what are you investing in and why do you invest in it? You know, I would ask the CEO of this corporation, how do you run a team? And what are the things that you look for to make this team effective? How do you communicate effectively? These are questions I would ask every morning. And why did I do that? Well, during the pandemic, it was tough, man. It was tough to find someone to communicate with. We were all in this solitary confinement that we call our homes. And a lot of people at those moments, I realized and I cherished interaction, how important interaction actually is with each other. You know, during the pandemic, you ain't had nobody to talk to. But so when you did talk to somebody, you cherish it. It's just like with money. If you never grew up with money, when you get money, a good sum of it, you actually cherish it because you know what it's like to not have it. That's what we learned in the pandemic with communication. So when I was a security guard and these execs would come in here into the building, I would ask them questions because they were willing to talk because they have no one else literally to talk to. So why not? That's what I did. I would ask them questions like, you know, like I said before. Well, I developed a relationship with these guys. They enjoyed the questions I asked because I'm not asking them, you know, what you eat, what did you eat on Thursday? No, I'm not asking them, you know, where'd you buy your shoes? I don't care about that. I'm asking them about the real thing that actually matters. What's in your mind and why is it there? Important stuff. You know, what books are you reading? I got some of the best books I've ever read from my life from these individuals, such as Good to Great with Jim Collins, talking about how you have to have core values in anything you do, not just business, but life. And business doesn't start when you get a business. Business starts how you live your life. It doesn't start when you get to the office. It's at your crib. The way you live is going to be the way you run your business, period. So why not find out how this successful business is run, but also how the people that run the successful business live? You know what I mean? That's the thing, man. That's the thing. And I'm now going to get to the greatest piece of advice I ever received from one of these individuals, one of the top lawyers there. And let me check, before I give you that, let me check the actual stream to make sure you guys can hear me and all of that good stuff. So give me 30 seconds and I'll be right back with you. Hello. And we're back, baby. And like I said, the greatest advice I ever received in my life, ever, and I mean it, was this: life is the greatest, is the only teacher. Life is the only teacher that'll give you the test before you get the lesson. At that moment, I realized something, man. When I heard that, I realized something, and something important. The thing I realized at that moment was it's the experiences that teach you the greatest lessons, not the books. You know, there's this saying that says knowledge is power. Nah. To me, knowledge is not power. And I know it's going to tick a few people off, as well as some people ain't really going to get that saying. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. Knowledge isn't power. Use knowledge is power. Knowledge is potential. You dig? Knowledge is potential. It's the knowledge that you use that actually makes it powerful, man. So that's what I'm talking about there. So anybody that tells you knowledge is power, you cut it down and say, no, knowledge is potential. Use knowledge as power. That's important. And that's what I got to, where it says life is the greatest, is the only teacher to give you the test before you get the lesson. Because the guy I asked that question to, I also asked him this question. It was like, what one book changed your life? And he told me there was never going to be one book that's going to change anything in your life. It's the accumulation of them, the compound information that you get from different books, as well as the experiences that you have in life, right? And you can read as many books as you want, but if you ain't going to use none of the knowledge, that's entertainment. That's like watching TV. I watch a lot of positive stuff on TV, but if I don't let it influence my life to the point where I act on it, it was just something that was sitting in front of me to pass time. That's what I look at it as. So, hey, man, shout out to anybody that's watching. I want to say hello to you. Don't forget to leave a comment, man. You got any comments for me? You got any advice for me? You want to start a conversation? Man, put something in the chat. Say hello. I always tell people, don't be a creep. Say something. Say hello. This is a podcast about nothing, but your nothing that you want to talk about may be something to someone. So that's why we're here. We're here to communicate, baby. We're here to communicate. Hopefully the microphone sounded better. I just changed out the equipment. Let me know how that sounds to you. Birdie B. Hey, what up, Bird? What up, Jay? How you doing, fam? It's good to see you, man. Hopefully you can hear me this time. Let me know if it's coming in. Peace, King. Peace, King, to you as well, family. Yes, sir. All right, man, let's get back to it. So we're talking about, hey, Bird, what's the greatest piece of advice you ever got? Put it in the chat, bro. Put it in the chat. Anybody listening, what's the greatest piece of advice that you ever received? That's what this is about, man. Let's communicate on this. Sounds good. Dope, man. Yeah, I've been working, B. I've been working, man. I've been working on trying to knock the bugs out of this system. So it's been really cool to see the evolution in the past few days, man. Yes, sir. So getting back to it, let me go with another piece of advice that I heard that actually changed my life, man. Changed my life, changed the way I looked at life was everything that actually happens to you, good or bad, it's your fault. See, most people hear that, bro. Most people hear that and they think that I'm telling them that you're the reason you're in this situation. Well, I am. It's not what happens to you, is what you do about what happens to you. The first thing I ever taught my kids in life is when they fall, what do you do? When they were babies, I was like, when they fell at the park, what do you do when you fall? You get up. That's the key to life right there. The thing that's going to happen to you is going to happen to everybody. That's uncommon. It's about what you do about what happened, fam. That's the thing that makes the difference. So Birdie put in the chat, learn to love people for who they are and not for who you want them to be. Ooh, that's heavy, fam. That's heavy. Now that's a good one. This I asked Bird what was the greatest, saying or thing you heard that changed everything. And he said, learn to love people for who they are and not for who you want them to be. That brings me to something that I experienced when you can't expect yourself out of other people, right? Don't expect what you do, what someone else is going to do. Like if you're doing something for someone, you can't do it with a return in mind. Besides like respect and the common courtesies, but I'm talking about if you're giving, it's like when you give someone that's homeless $1. Do you expect them to give you $1 back? No, no. You're giving it to them so they can, because you know they're in need of it. That same idea, that same feeling of that you get in that moment is truly how you should feel when you give to anyone. Nothing in return, but I hope this helps you. That's special. There's a book out there that I'm reading that I've read partially. I gotta finish it. It's called I think it's called Give and Take. And it talks about the greatest individuals in a corporation, the top 5%. No, let's start with this. The bottom 5% are people that give. The middle 90% are people that take. And guess what the top 5% of that corporation is? Usually in the best corporations are also givers. And then he's like, how can you be a giver and make it to the top? Because a lot of times when you give, you feel like you get the crappy end of the stick if you're giving without the intent to receive. That's probably why you feel that way. It's not truly who you are. It's what you want to be, and just uncomfortable at the beginning of it. Shout out to Red Hawk, man. Shout out to Red. I'm gonna have to get you to sponsor me, Red Hawk, for sure. I'll drink you guys all the time. But the top 5% is also givers, and what it is people that are usually at the top of the food chain. I forgot. See, this is why I got to finish that book. This was like in the first very beginning, and I'm about to give you something that I don't truly understand completely, and I won't do that to you. So besides, it may be a flip on the consistency of the story I was just telling, but we're going to go to the next topic because I'll never say something to you that I truly don't completely agree with or understand. So I'll finish the book and then come back and do another stream on why this book Give and Take is so important, because it truly is. And I advise anybody to pick it up, especially if you're someone who gives their all to a situation. It tells you how to give, because giving is usually the natural state of someone who is always there for someone and there for everyone else, but don't truly know how to be there for themselves. A better example is this. People that are givers, people that give everything to someone else that really doesn't know how to give to themselves, are naturally like that a lot of times. They don't know how to take, they just know how to give. And because they usually give to the wrong people, they usually get the shitty end of the stick. Well, I'm here to tell you, you don't have to change the natural being of yourself. You don't have to be someone who is nasty and doesn't give because you truly enjoy doing that. But there is something that you will have to change to continue to do it. And it is identifying who you're actually giving to. Right? Because if you do what you do, if you're doing everything to give to someone and they receive it and you get nothing back but a crappy feeling, 9 times out of 10, it's not the fact that you did the wrong thing. You just did the right thing for the wrong person. Because if you give to someone who actually appreciates what you're giving, then it feels better. They appreciate the fact of receiving it. And a lot of times they give you back what you gave them in some sort of capacity. It just works like that. There is a story that I want to break down to you guys. It's called The Old Man and the Dusty Watch. There was an old man and he had his grandson, right? This is a great story. It's probably one of my favorite stories. There's an old man, he had a grandson, and he gave his grandson this dusty watch. He said, take this watch, grandson, and go to the pawn shop and see what they give you for it. So the little kid got up, he took the watch, he took it to the pawn shop, and the pawn shop told him, this watch is dirty and needs some work done. You know what? I'll give you $50 for it. The grandson almost sold the watch to that man because he was like, yo, this is $50. It's a lot of money to him. But he grabbed the watch up and he took it back to his grandfather. His grandfather said, what was he going to give you? He said $50. He said, that's cool. But now I want you to take this watch and take it and take it to the jewelry shop and see what they give you for it. So again, the kid was excited because he almost got $50 for it. He took the watch. He took it to the jeweler. And he asked the jeweler, what would you give me for this? The jeweler told him, he's like, nah, it's kind of, it's a dirty watch. It's dirty for one. It looks old. I'll give you the weight in gold for it. I'll give you about $200 for it. The little kid looked at him and said, yo, I'm about to leave here with $200. But he knew his grandfather said he wanted him to bring the watch back. So the kid took the watch and he skipped all the way home. And he couldn't wait to tell his grandfather. So he gave the watch back to his grandfather and he said, grandfather, we need to sell this thing. It's $200 they're going to give us for this old piece of junk. The grandfather smirked, looked at that little kid again. And he said, grandson, now I want you to take this watch and take it to the antique shop and see what they give you for it. The grandson was reluctant. He was like, nah, I'm not going to. Come on, man. Let's just go get $200. They're going to give us $200 for this junky watch that you pulled out of a box underneath your bed. Like, well, come on. But he did it anyway. He took the watch and he went to the antique shop. And when he got there, he showed the guy behind the counter the watch. The guy looked at the kid and he asked him, he's like, what would you give me for this dusty watch? And the guy looked at the kid and he locked the doors and he looked at the kid and he told him this. He said, kid, this is the most valuable watch that ever walked through these doors. I'll give you $250,000 for it. Kid almost shit his pants. He couldn't believe what he just heard. He grabbed the watch. He didn't even know how to speak back to this man. He grabbed the watch and he put it in his pocket and he ran as fast as he could back to his grandfather's house. And when he got there, he shut the door and he sat next to the door and he said, he was shaking. The grandfather walked up and what's wrong with you? What's wrong with your son? And he told him, he said, this man told me he'd give me $250,000 for this watch, $250,000. And the grandfather sat the kid down and he told him this, He said, listen up, boy. This will be the most important advice you ever got. Depending on if you don't know your value, people will give you what they think your value is. But if you go to the wrong spot asking them to appreciate your value, you'll never get what you want. But if you go to the right place, if they understand your value, they won't just give it to you, but they'll give you more. He said, it is important to understand your value and where you take it, because if they don't know exactly what you are, they won't know what to give you for it. You have to find your antique shop. You hear me? Find your antique shop. Make sure whoever you're around understands your value. They know what type of watch you are, because that is the only way you're going to get what you deserve, is from those who appreciate your value. Yeah, that was a deep one, man. That was a deep one. So we are back, guys. Hey, if you're in the chat, say hello, man. Tell me where you're from. Actually, I want to know where you guys are from as well. What's up, Lisa? I see you in here in the chat watching. You know what I mean? Say hello. Where you at now, Lisa? I ain't seen from you in a minute, lady. Lisa, what's up? And welcome to the chat, man. I'm up here streaming now. Your boy's a streamer. I'm out here. We doing this. And this is the podcast about nothing, where we talk about anything because it means something to someone. So what you got going on, girl? Boom. She's in the house. You did? She's in the house. Hello. Yeah, man, for those that are watching, man, feel free to go into the comment section. Feel free to talk your talk, man. Feel free to say something to your boy. And I'll communicate with you. I'm always looking for topics to talk about. I'm always looking for different. I'm always looking for. You in Turtle Creek, all right? I'm always looking for different things to converse about. That's what this podcast is about /stream. You in Turtle Creek now? I work at the Live Jazz Club. Ooh, Lisa, you know what I'm gonna tell you, girl? I'm gonna tell you right now. You one of the hardest. Like, even growing up, before I knew what work ethic is, all I had to do was look at you to know what it looks like. Girl, you've been knocking it down since I met you. There was never a time that I didn't see you going for it and working for everything you got. And I appreciate that, because a lot of times we don't get a chance to see. They tell us what we're supposed to be, but it's hard to be it until you see it. I can't say I ain't never seen someone work hard for something, never had to ask nobody for nothing, never wanted to ask nobody for nothing, and wanted to go get it. So kudos to you, lady. I remember like I remember that like yesterday. You know what I mean? So shout out to all the hardworking women out there. Lisa, you absolutely included. You did. Who else we got on here today, man? I see we got more people on here coming in. Had to give you your flowers, lady. Had to give you your flowers. Yeah. How the fam doing too? Yeah, you right. You deserve that. Let me put a like sign on that one. We love that. All right, man. And yeah, man. Let's talk about work ethic, man. Hard work works. Let's go there. Because you know what? You inspired me with a topic. Hard work works. People be asking, how did you figure out how to do the podcast and all this? Who taught you? I taught my damn self. I looked at people, and other people inspired me, but it actually took trial and error and effort. See, most people, there's three things to make something happen. You need vision, you need motivation, and you need energy, effort. And if you don't have those three things working simultaneously, I maybe said that wrong, but together, you can't do it with two of them. You can't do it with vision and motivation. You can have vision and motivation, but if you ain't got the energy to do it, you're just gonna sit there mad because you feel like you're tired and you can't accomplish it. So it takes all three together, you know? And a lot of times we think we're lazy. We think I can't do that. And it may be the case, but a lot of times I had to realize there's a difference between lazy and tired, and how rest is just as important as the effort. And things take time. You can't constantly just keep trying to knock something down for 100% of the time and don't sleep. You know what I mean? Like, energy is one of the most important things, and effort. But when you got all three, when you got the motivation, the vision is probably the most important thing. It's like seeing yourself in that position. Motivation just as important. What gets you up in the morning? What drives you? But the energy is something that is not a lot of times just mental. It's it's physical, right? Giving yourself the physique necessary to accomplish your goal is not a lot of times spoke of in the formula. And I'm not talking about going to the gym and knocking it out. I'm not talking about you got to run 3 miles. But there's a reason why people do that. Um, it's your brain can only take you so far, but your brain and your body together, working together, shh, you'll be the stuff dreams are made out of after that. So it's one thing to get your mind right. It's another thing to get your body right. And when you get your body and your mind right, you what we call a superhero. You what we call the stuff that we look up to, not look at. You become him or her. So that's my thing right now. That's the thing I'm working on. That's the thing I'm working on, man. I'm working on. I believe the mindset is there, but my body. I got to get my body right, man. I got to get my body right. I got to get my energy right, because I now know that mentally I can deal with the pressure, because a lot of this is just pressure, uh, you know. But physically, I'm getting tired. I'm getting old, man. I'm old as hell now. I ain't old as hell, but I'm at the point where you know I can't go out late night and expect to be efficient in the morning. It just doesn't work that way. It doesn't. So I got to make sure get enough sleep. I got to make sure that what I'm putting in my body is actually beneficial to the goal I set. Shit, man, it's crazy. It's crazy to hear myself talking like this. It's coming from an honest place. It really is. I'm a fan of you too, lady. I'm a fan of you. Mental health is everything. It's out. It's all in our heads. Mm. Old Dirt McGirt. What are you writing now? All right, mental health. Yeah, mental health is everything. You got to realize, there's a thing, man. There's a book called The One Thing, and it's not about just one thing. It is about one thing. It's about the one thing that's connected to everything. Like if you got a whole bunch of problems, a lot of times it's all connected to one particular thing that combines it all. And if you can identify that one thing, you don't have to work on everything. You just have to work on that one thing, and it fixes everything. How about that? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Put that in your cup and sip it. Voila. It's a beautiful thing, man. And mental health is to me the one thing. I can have the body to do it. I don't even have to. You know who Stephen Hawkins is? That man didn't even have the body, but he had the mind. He had the mind. He understood his body to keep it going, but that was only to keep his mind moving. The mental health is the one thing connected to everything. If you can get that down packed, and that should be the first thing that you work on. If you can get the mind for it, you can acquire it with the body, regardless of the conditions. Like I said, Stephen Hawkins, my man is. I know babies that can't walk that have more than that man's body at the end of his life. You know what I'm saying? But he still did it. He wrote books, inspired industries, sectors, straight monster, bruh. Straight monster. Saw that. Um, okay, man. I think I'm good. I think I'm good, man. I think this did everything it was supposed to do and some. Lisa, I want to say thank you for coming on and thank you for lighting me up, man. You really inspired me to keep going forward with this. Uh, I'm drinking coffee and smoking a bowl while listening, as you should, lady. You living your best life, and guess what? I put any money, I put any money on it. Ain't nobody buy that weed for you. You bought it yourself with your own efforts, and your own hard work and discipline, and you deserve that. You deserve the fact to sit down, chill, chillax, and do what you do. Because I know it. You're doing everything possible to make tomorrow better than your yesterdays. You are the definition of strength, mama. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You little cute little thing. Nah, just kidding. But you are. You absolutely are. And, yeah, enjoy that damn thing, man. Enjoy that. Yo, well, I'm happy. Damn, man. What a life. What a life we living, man. Hey, man, before we get off here, there's one last thing I guess I'll say that I wanna hit on. And it's the importance of your existence, right? It's the importance of your existence. You have a 1 in 4 billionth chance of being born. You had to first like make it to the egg and fight off millions, billions of different individuals trying to make it to the egg, trying to even be fertilized to be born into this world. To make it to the egg first is like hitting the Powerball 3 times in one day. And the Powerball only happens once every 2 weeks or once every month. I don't gamble, so I don't know the actual timeline. But that being said, for you to exist in this world is already the luck of the draw. One out four 3.9 billion people had to die for you to live. And you're here because you were the first one to make it to the egg. Like I said, that's hitting the Powerball 3 times in one day. So it is you are lucky. You are lucky to be here. This is a gift. Millions of people have died for you to live. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And you got to understand that you here today is the luck of the draw. Not so many more people have died for you to live. So cherish your life. Cherish the moment. Cherish the fact that you can breathe, that you have fresh air. And if there is breath on your lips, if you are breathing, then you can change any damn situation. Any situation could be changed. You're not stuck. You're processing. So keep fighting. Keep kicking at the door. Keep knocking them down. Ain't nobody tell you they love you today. I'm telling you I love you. And go fuck it up. It's your world. Knock it down. It's your responsibility. All right. Have a great day. Enjoy. This is going to be the last stream of the day because I got some things to do tomorrow, which I'll probably come on here and stream about after we get done. All right. Enjoy, y'all. Have a good one. This is another episode of a podcast about nothing with your boy Corey Child. Those and we're out.